Okay, welcome back to part two. I'm still Rob Janezic with Janezic Realty Group at Remax Executive in Charlotte, North Carolina. And part two is going to talk about the foreclosure. In part one, we talked about setting up the deed of trust as security for the loan that the bank gave. So the bank gave this buyer some money, and now the buyer needs to pay back. And if they don't, well, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the subsequent foreclosure sale. So the buyer stops paying and is in default. And they do have a certain period of time where they can cure that. But after a certain period of time, maybe 15 days, the bank can now say, I'm going to go ahead and commence foreclosure proceedings. So it starts with a preliminary notice. That needs to happen 10 days prior to the expected hearing. While the bank has the right, well, not directly, through a trustee, again, in a whole different topic, through a trustee has the right to commence this foreclosure without a court order because the borrower gave that permission in the security document. So it starts with filing a hearing after the payments stop. And then in a hearing, the judge is just going to make sure that all the administrative details are taken care of. And what we're looking for, or what the bank is looking for out of that hearing, is the output known as the notice of sale. That is the permission to go ahead now. Well, what needs to happen is the bank, the lien holder, wants to sell the property to get their money back. That's all they want, is to get their mortgage money back. It's not their property. They don't want the property. They want to sell that asset and they want to claim their money. And we're going to talk about the distribution of the proceeds at a sale. In fact, why don't we talk about it now before we get into any of the other details? Once this property is sold at a public auction, which will be for cash, that money is going to be distributed as follows. First, we're going to pay for all the costs of the sale. And there are sales commissions to trustees and legal fees and other things that can range up to 7% or probably even more. So that comes off the top. After that, we got to pay all the superior liens that might be on the property, such as real estate property taxes. The government will get paid their money first before anybody else. After we take care of the cost of the sale and the superior liens, well, then we get to the mortgages. And the mortgages in the order of recordation. And that's where the lien holder is interested in. They're interested in what do we get overall, what comes off for this, what comes off for this, and what's going to be left to pay me. Now, at the sale, which I guess we need to go through. So there are other things that might need to get paid, but really we want to stop at the bank. That's where their interest is. There could be other loans, other claims, and then finally, if there's a surplus of money after everybody gets paid, well then the homeowner gets whatever's due them. So it is possible that the homeowner can wind up with a check after a foreclosure sale. It doesn't happen typically because the seller would just sell it to get their money rather than go through this arduous process. So back up, we were at the hearing, we got the notice of sale. If you want to have this public auction, it can't be in secret. It has to be, well, the buyer has to know about it, and we have to tell the public about it. So the borrower needs to be notified no later than 20 days prior to the intended sale, because they can save themselves by bringing the money and stopping the process. So we got to give them the opportunity to call Aunt Ginny and see if she'll give them the money to pay this off. In addition, we need to make it public that this sale is going to occur. So for each week, for 2 consecutive weeks, no greater than 10 days prior to the sale, this ad has to run through the paper, the notice of sale. And then finally, in the courthouse itself, there's a wall of all the upcoming sales. It needs to be posted greater than 20 days prior so enough people can see. Once you go ahead and do all this, we can conduct that sale. And who shows up? Investors. Investors with cash who want a deal. So this sales price is not going so possibly well. The lender is going to send somebody as well to that sale. And this person is going to bid as well. If they don't like the number based on these people's bids, well then maybe they'll be the high bidder and they'll buy the property and then they'll take it into their inventory. But make no doubt about it, this was the foreclosure sale. If you're buying properties from MLS that are bank owned, They went through foreclosure. It's just now the bank owns the property, which is not always in every foreclosure sale. So I hope you enjoyed this, the two parts, talking about the security document and then the subsequent action that can happen from failure of payment. Thank you very much, and I hope you look at more of the videos that we have available for you.